Hello friends! All gasoline units are quite reliable and durable. The best recommendations are worthy of a 2-liter engine with a capacity of 145 horsepower. It is able to deliver the greatest driving pleasure. The gas distribution mechanism of 1.6-liter engines is driven by a timing belt. In 1.6 Ti VCT, phase regulators sometimes fail. And in 1.8 and 2.0, swirl flaps in the intake sometimes fail. At first, they start making noise. In the worst case, the dampers can break off and get into the engine. Both engines have a timing chain drive with a service life of over 300,000 kilometers. Ignition coils have to be updated after 150 to 200,000 kilometers. By this time, the valve cover gasket also gives up. An oil leak appears. The rear crankshaft oil seal may also be leaking. But the main drawback of the age 1.8 is high oil consumption, after 200 to 250,000 kilometers. The reason is the aging of the valve stem seals in combination with the occurrence or wear of the oil scraper rings. The problem of the oil burner sometimes affects the 2-liter engine. Owners of pre-styling cars had to deal with an overhaul of the engine due to water hammer received when driving in heavy rain or overcoming puddles at high speed. The reason is the unfortunate location of the air intake. It was placed in the front bumper under the left headlight. During restyling, the design defect was eliminated by moving the air intake point under the hood. Many independently altered the air intake scheme or used a restyled kit. For diesel lovers, there are also offers on the market, although not numerous. In the general list of possible problems for such engines, number 1 is not a very hardy dual-mass flywheel. Its resource is a little more than 150,000 kilometers, and it changes along with the clutch kit. The most preferred option is with 2.0 TDCi, which provides good dynamics and demonstrates a high level of reliability. Instead of capricious Delphi injectors, piezoelectric VDO/Siemens are installed here. Injector malfunctions are usually caused not by mechanical wear, but by electronic malfunctions. However, such cases are isolated. Until 2005, the 2-liter turbo diesel compiled with Euro 3 emission standards, and after Euro 4. The engine standard can be found by the VIN code or a sticker in the engine compartment. If the code starts with DW10B, then it meets the Euro 4 standard. If the letter B is missing, then Euro 3. In some markets, the engine was equipped with a particulate filter, while in others it was not. The 2.0 TDCi sometimes causes oil leaks through oil seals, which is detrimental to the timing belt. Problems with the USR valve were solved by changing the kinematics of the valve and the control program. Instances with 1.6 TDCi should be avoided. There are turbocharger malfunctions due to a design flaw in the lubrication system and oil leaks. Both diesel engines were developed jointly with the PSA concern. A common drawback is the exhaust gas cleaning system and the particulate filter. The list of proposals also includes a 1.8 TDCi of Ford's own design. Against the background of French diesels, it looks like a pensioner. Even the blockhead is cast iron. The dynamics of a car with such an engine is slightly better than the basic diesel version with 1.6 TDCi. The reason is in program management, the main goal of which is to care for the environment. Typical malfunctions include problems with the injection system, cracking of the rubber elements of the intake duct, and regular oil leaks from under the timing chain cover and the connection of the upper and lower parts of the block. However, the 1.8 TDCi has a durable combined timing drive, eternal chain plus short belt, and a hardy turbocharger. As befits a microvan, the C-Max is front-wheel drive only. A 5-speed manual or a 4-band automatic is responsible for transmitting torque. The manual transmission clutch has to be updated after 200 to 250,000 kilometers. Paired with gasoline engines of 1.6 and 1.8 liters, an IB5 manual gearbox was used. After 200 to 300,000 kilometers, it could fail due to the destruction of the axis of the satellite or wear of the bearings. The rest of the engines were completed with more durable mechanics, MTX 7.5. In 2008, an automated power shift dual-clutch transmission made by GetRag was offered in conjunction with the 2.0 TDCi. However, it is better to avoid this box because even a new one often caused problems. Failures were usually associated with mechatronics and clutch. The 1.6 TDCi has been mated with an alternative DuraShift CVT since 2004. Its service life did not exceed 150,000 kilometers, and repairs are very expensive. The 4-speed 4F27E automatic is pretty tough. Complaints about shocks after 200 to 250,000 kilometers are eliminated by replacing the brake band adjusting bolt or updating the worn brake band. McPherson struts work on the front axle and a multi-link design on the rear axle. The suspension is strong enough. As a rule, after 80 to 100,000 kilometers, only small things had to be changed, struts and stabilizer bushings. However, the situation was complicated by poor quality roads, which significantly reduced the service life of the silent blocks of levers. Repair of the rear suspension is hampered by corrosion of threaded connections. However, it does not require too high maintenance costs. The front and rear wheel bearings are replaced as an assembly with the hub. Factory front bearings traveled up to 150,000 kilometers and rear ones up to 250,000 kilometers. Often, the anthers of the internal CV joint are rented out. If you miss the moment, you will have to change the CV joint itself. Ford C-Max 1 from the very beginning offered two versions of the parking brake, a classic mechanically operated lever and a more complex electromechanical one. The latter is a relatively cheap solution that does not use servometers in the calipers, as in Audi or Volkswagen. The C-Max has one large servo motor that pulls the cables. The electromechanical brake relied only on more equipped versions for an additional fee. Ford C-Max is one of the least problematic models, not only in the range of the brand, but also among cars in general. As for corrosion protection, the C-Max is better protected than the first Focus or the third Mondeo. However, against the background of rivals, corrosion resistance is not exemplary. On older copies, you should carefully check the condition of the thresholds, the lower part of the doors and wheel arches. With age, the trunk release button and hood lock may require repairs. Sometimes you have to pay attention to the starter and generator. In addition, there are failures of the electro-hydraulic power steering pump, $300. Parking sensors fail from time to time. Sometimes the ABS with ESP also stops functioning due to sensors or the ABS control unit. Ford C-Max owners complain about poor workmanship. Plastic interior elements and door seals creak. In the latter case, regular lubrication or replacement of seals with new ones saves. The quality of the base upholstery of the chairs, which gets dirty very easily, is also upsetting. Traces remain even after raindrops that have entered through an open door or window. It is not difficult to guess what the upholstery of the rear seats will look like, on which children have been transported for several years. The plastic of the trunk walls is too delicate and scratches easily. Sometimes the instrument panel fails. The arrows of the pointers remain at 0, and various signaling devices light up for no reason. The problem is typical for pre-styling machines and is eliminated by soldering the contacts and cable. One of the serious drawbacks of diesel versions is the inefficient heating system. Unfortunately, Ford did not serially install an autonomous interior heater. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.